Agree with Aries in that space, or
Hell no, that shit's stupid.
so? Aries Spears was recently on Comedy Hype about 2 weeks ago, and his whole thing was that he brought up this conversation of writers and stand-up comedians, and he would go on to say that he felt that Kevin Hart's should not get full credit for his stand-up because he has writers on his team.
So if you supposed to be the artist, if you sitting there and you got your thing of clay, and you as an artist have to mold this clay and shape it and do it and get it to where when you finally finish, this is the piece of resistance. This is museum ready. That's you. You did that. But if you molding this clay and it's kind of there, but ain't there, and somebody goes, hey man, do this to it. Whip, 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 whip. Now you took what they gave you and you did that, and now ta-da, that's you.
You being a stand-up and a writer, Ronnie, like, do you agree with Aries in that space, or?
Hell no, that shit's stupid. That's like Derek Jeter not having a trainer or a motherfucker to rub him down. You know they got every motherfucker to help him out. You can't duplicate him. It's not the words, it's him. You know what I'm saying? It's his work ethic. This mother don't sleep. Like when you complaining about somebody else, you could be doing the same shit yourself. Get you some writers. Like how much funnier would you be with some help? Like that's a stupid ass motto. I don't understand. Like everybody wants you to do it the old way. That's like making movies like the Three Stooges still. Like we got technology. Fucking, you got friends that like you. Let them help you out. Pay them. Make millions together. Like build a village. What's the problem with that?
Now, I know rappers kind of get into that, like, okay, you shouldn't credit this person because they have a writer for the rap. And I kind of get that more because once the song is done, that song plays over and over and over. Like, comedy is forever changing. So there's not a comedian on earth that doesn't run a joke by another comedian they trust. And now, I don't know the process of what Kev and Harry and all of them, they do, but I'm pretty sure it's not, hey, say this joke this way. Like, I'm sure Kev is like, all right, I got this idea. What do y'all think about it? You should add this. Same shit Ronnie does with me. Same shit I do with Ronnie, Remo. Every comedian does with comedians that they like and they trust. You just, pitch ideas off of each other. I seriously doubt they're like sitting there and writing jokes about Kevin's life. Like all Kevin's jokes are about his life. Right. I know they know him well, but they don't know a lot of shit that he be talking about, especially like relationship shit with his kids. Like you don't know that stuff. So he'll bring that to you and then you say, oh, it'll be funny if your son got a wobbly neck. Like they might just add that little part to it. So it's different with how rappers do it.
So I know the Plastic Cup Boys, and I know how I actually asked. I was like, "How do y'all write for him?" He was like, "It's not. They don't really write for him. They like comedians talk all day. Like if you had somebody write down what I said all day, I would have like 5 specials. Like they walk around, whoever's around him, they just write down the funny shit he says all day. What I'm saying is, how much more funny would you be if your friends wrote down all the funny shit you said, and then you go back over it and you say, hey, let's make a story out of this one. And then you say, oh, that's funny. Like every time you rehearse something, it goes better. Like every time you go over something, I mean, it's like, why would
you said it's like you made it seem like that's the new blueprint versus like the old way of doing it. Is that what you
That's
said?
a way of doing it. It's like it's not one way to do it. Like as a black entertainer, you got to find a way to get across. It ain't no blueprint. Like hating on somebody else ain't going, or even worried about somebody else ain't gonna get you there. Like I know Aries Spears is a legend by himself. That man was on Def Jam when he was like 14, 15 years old. Like, come on, dog. Like, what if Aries Spears had a writing team with him of homeboys that wrote down everything he said throughout the day instead of him trying to remember it? You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. Comedians say so much funny stuff. Like, there's no way to remember everything you said. Like, that's it. I don't think there's nothing big to that formula.
And I think the main thing about comedy that separates it from any other art is that if Ronnie, Remo, and Tyler have a script and as a joke and go on stage, they're going to deliver that joke differently. So the art is not only in the writing of the joke, it's in the delivery. I don't even know if it's 50-50. I think the delivery is far more important because I've seen Ronnie literally go on stage and in between a joke say anyway and get roaring laughter from just that one word and how it's delivered and the spacing in between it and the joke. So it's the delivery of the joke is it has far more weight than what you're saying. Is how you say it.
It's probably 90-10.
Right. I think people find it because it was a big conversation, and I think the surprising part was that the public doesn't always know that comedians have writers, and I think that was more the why it became a big conversation. Gotcha. Because initially we think these are your thoughts and this coming.
All the big names had writers. Look at Eddie Murphy Raw credits. Keenan Ivory Wayans on there. Robert Townsend directed it. They all is like it's no different from what Seth Rogen and Judd Apatow them do. Because Judd Apatow was a comedian. They all hang out. This one. Paul Mooney wrote a lot of stuff for Richard Pryor. Shoot, Louis C.K. wrote for Chris Rock. Like, come on, bro. It's a lot. It's like, why wouldn't you? The more money you make, the better. You're supposed to be playing on the highest level. Like, it's no formula to it. Like, if you write every single thing, that's like Dave Chappelle is a unicorn. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure he runs stuff by Neil Brennan a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to run it. You got to hear. Comedians have to hear it as comedians. We think different. So it's like, what do you think about this? You know what I'm saying? Or even if you're saying it in the room and Tyler punch it up, he right. By the time the joke get through all five of them, it's like, ooh, now I got something.